Greetings fanboys and fangirls, Jared here with another video from Fanboys Forever. Today we're actually going to be covering some really interesting news. Mezco did something really cool this year with the way that they did all of their, I guess what would really be Toy Fair season reveals, and they really just did it with social media reveals. So I think that was really cool, and I think that it was really interesting the way that they did it just by updating all their social media channels simultaneously, and it was actually a really cool experience. They had reveals every hour for 3 days. And so let's go ahead and get right into it and just kind of recap what they did day by day. So we're going to start with day one here. And the very first thing that they revealed, because they didn't do just exclusively 112 collective reveals or anything like that, they sprinkled in some of their other lines. And one of their other lines is the 5 points of articulation line. Now, I don't actually own any of these, but I'm going to be having the Popeye show up pretty quick in the Krieg 13 box set that I ordered, so that's going to be exciting. But the Bill and Ted figures look really cool. You can see there's a Gus back there, so that's going to be interesting if that gets made. I think that the likenesses are pretty good. They're meant to be a little cartoony, of course. I think Bill looks maybe a little, I don't know, anime-ish here, maybe. But here on the second head, it seems like it's a little better. I think both heads are a little better on this second picture right here. But I think they look really cool. It's probably not something I'll be getting or anything like that, but I think it's cool for people that like the 5 points figures. Here we have the reveal that really, I think, got the show started, and I probably would have done this for the very first one, but I understand that they wanted to lead in with maybe a little something more niche just to make sure that they get it out there. But it's their Superman, their basic comic book Superman. And of course, this is more of a reworking of the Christopher Reeve Superman that they just released. And this is on a bulkier, you know, their standard kind of comic book body. This is the Superman from them that I've been waiting for. Because, I mean, let's face it, the other one that they did, the first one, was pretty rough. And I've thought that for a very, very long time. So I'm really glad that they have one here that is just terrific. It looks like we've got two different head sculpts right here that they show picture, the really serious one with him flying, and the more casual kind of classic Superman head right here. I think the costume looks really good. You can tell that some of this is kind of a digital mock-up. The chest symbol in particular, it looks like it's some kind of Photoshop or computer-generated type of deal. But everything looks really good, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting this to go with my Batman figures. I really hope that this might be the start of a Superman trilogy, just like they did the Batman trilogy of figures. And I think that the really exciting thing here is going to be seeing what the exclusive versions might look like. Surely they're going to do a Mezco exclusive version MDX and a PX, which would be the previews exclusive version for comic shops and things like that and e-tailers. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. I've heard some people throw around Cyborg Superman might be a really cool exclusive for somebody. Me personally, I think the neatest exclusive would be if they did the black suit Superman that actually has like the mullet hair. That would look incredible, especially because you would be able to hopefully switch those portraits out to put the mullet Superman head on the basic body. So I think you get something really cool here. But I think this looks terrific. And some people are like, oh man, I should have just waited and got this instead of the Chris Reeves one. Well, the Chris Reeves one is its own thing. That would be like saying that you don't want to own a Michael Keaton Batman and a comic book Batman. You need both. They're totally different. So moving on down. I really like this. This is their Halloween 2 Michael Myers. Of course, they've been teasing this for a while, and it looks like they've actually done a little bit of work on this, and it might be a little different than what they had originally shown. It looks quite upgraded from their original look that they had. I actually think this looks really nice. As a matter of fact, I think it might look a little bit better than their original Michael Myers release, which has become pretty rare since it came out. I did have it. I sold it off a while back, but it was a really cool figure. But this to me, I know it's very dark. It's not very well lit images, but to me, this is kind of a step up. So I'm pleased to see this, and it's probably not something I'll get, but you never know. I mean, it looks really cool, so you never know. Here's something that a lot of people were looking forward to for a long time, and it's the Crow figure, the Brandon Lee version, the original. And I think it really does look good. I really do. I think that it's really well made. I think the soft goods look nice, particularly like the pleather coat there. Looks really cool. They got all the little rips and tears right on the shirt. And I don't know. I think this is one of those characters where this is the kind of thing that Mezco shines at when they do this sort of character. I think that especially these kind of more obscure licenses are really more where it's at for Mezco. So I really wish that they would do more of this type of thing. I've seen other people say that maybe, you know, they should do something like a Beetlejuice or something like that. So I'd love to see more kind of niche film licenses. The one criticism I'll level at this is just from this picture, you can almost get a sense that the head might be a little large. But I really think that this picture in particular is more of like a Photoshop kind of mock-up, whereas this picture here with the head tilted up wearing the coat is probably more indicative of the proportions of the figure. It looks a lot less shopped and certainly more accurate proportionally. Moving on down, we had a series of Rumble Society teases, and if you're not familiar with what the Rumble Society is, it's kind of the Mezco original character staple. And these weren't full reveals, so they didn't even have names of the characters. And this one is more of a, I've heard a lot of people describe it as Zeus. Certainly kind of looks like the Baron Ben's head a little bit. I don't know, he seems very kind of like Greek god to me. At the same time, he almost has kind of an underwater or aquatic quality. You can see, I guess he's wearing some kind of like blue suit or something. But this looks really cool. I like the little ornamentation and gems that's stuck in the beard. I think the skin texture looks really cool and certainly a rare thing to see at this scale. So there's not a whole lot to say about these guys. I really do think that this is Mezco's real future. Is really, of course, they need to continue doing their licensed figures, and we love those. But I do think making a name for themselves with these non-licensed characters and kind of showing what they can do, that's where I think they're going to shine. Moving on down, they ended each day with a really substantial reveal. And the really substantial reveal here was the last thing that they teased at whenever that was, San Diego or wherever it was when they showed the logo. It was the Big Fantastic Four reveal, which is just going to be a box set, so you're going to get all of them in one set. And I have to say, this is terrific. And I really have pretty well ignored the Mezco Marvel characters so far. You know, the Daredevil stuff from the show, I actually got that. But one of the Blades, and that's kind of it for my Marvel stuff, honestly. But I think that this is one it's going to be awfully hard for me to say no to it because it just looks great. I think the one difficulty they may have here is some of the compromises they may have to make about the Human Torch. But I really do think this is a cool visual representation for him. And especially if you're creative with your lighting, a little bit of red lighting on there, combined with those flame effects in the head, I think you've got something really nice. So I actually think it's quite admirable what they did there. The Thing himself is going to be clearly a 100% tool. So I have no idea what the price would be for a 4-pack of these guys. I really don't know. It would not surprise me if we see something like a $350 or $400 price tag for these guys. It really wouldn't surprise me, especially maybe if it was, you know, somewhere around there. I don't know. It's going to be a tough sell to get people to spend that much on one set of figures. But then again, people are paying the Hot Toys prices, and that seems to be a good business model for them. So who knows? So that was it for day one. Let's go to day two. Not really interested in this Silent Hill stuff. It's not really my thing. Moving on down. 14-inch grub. This is kind of, I guess, their Gomez reveal, which I was very surprised that we didn't really have a straight-up Gomez 1/12 reveal. It's kind of funny looking. I don't know. It's neat. It's not something I'll be getting. 14 inches. Nah, I'm cool. But I'm sure it's cool for somebody. Now, here's something that I think a lot of people will be excited about. It is the Conquest of the Planet of the Apes Caesar, and I think this is really cool. I think Conquest deserves more toys, more representation, and I think that this looks really nice. I definitely think that this movie, with the jumpsuits that they're wearing, are definitely more of what Mezco is good for. So I think that looks really cool. I think that this looks good too. It's this kind of the set of gorillas from the big, breakout sequence, kind of in the almost prison-like jumpsuits. So I think that's really nice and really cool that they're more digging into the franchise, and hopefully they'll go a little bit further than Naked did. So here's another one of those kind of blockbuster reveals that threw everybody for a loop, and that they're doing this new kind of Lee Styled Wolverine. And it's just I think it's just great. They have really made good on improving that first Wolverine that goes for crazy money now because for some reason they decided to make it an exclusive, which shouldn't have happened. But hopefully they've learned from that, and this will just be a general release. To me, this is the best Wolverine figure in the 12th scale that I've seen, and that's saying something because I feel like everybody and their mother has taken a shot at trying to do this style of Wolverine, and this will look terrific with that Sentinel that a lot of people, which may or may not include me, backed on HasLab. So I think this is terrific. It has just enough added details like little ridges on the head there and the bolts on the shoulder pads while still staying so true to the comics. And I really think Mezco's in their element here, and people were just thrilled with this. I think it knocked it out of the park. Moving on down, we can see another original character from the Rumble Society. Now, this one was actually already partially revealed at the end of the comic that came with Doc Nocturnal. Now, if you remember, I think I might have shown it in the review, that there was kind of like a preview page, and it said that this character was coming. I can't exactly remember the name. But, I mean, it looks really neat. I actually didn't think that the preview image looked too interesting to me originally when it was at the end of that comic, but this actually looks pretty good because I can see like part of like a fur collar and like a jacket, and the head shape looks more interesting here. The colors pop. I think that this one is probably one that I'm more excited about from the Rumble Society teases that we've seen because I don't know, it looks really different, so I'm all about it. Now here's one that absolutely broke the internet. The big reveal that they're going to be doing Power Rangers figures. And this is just insane. I mean, look at this. This is the type of figure that Mezco was made to do, where you've got a spandex suit. It's funny because of how real it ends up making the figure look, because there's no joints visible. The Power Rangers, are, well, I guess the ankle joints are visible and the wrist joints, but really with the kind of wrinkles that would be there anyway, that would be in like the leather, the pleather of the boots and the gloves, you really wouldn't be able to see, you wouldn't be able to tell those joints apart too much. The accessories look terrific. It is very, in my opinion, it's less Power Rangers and more Kyoryo Sentai Zyuranger. So I think that this is more of a Japanese Sentai figure. And I'll tell you what, I know that they went through, the Power Rangers license to do it, but I have a feeling that this is definitely more of a Sentai thing for them. Now, don't be surprised if we also see the White Ranger. Somebody suggested we may get a 5-pack of the regular Power Rangers. And you know what? That may be a great way to do that. I really do. I think these are awesome. I don't think that they'll be for everybody, especially when Power Rangers fans see the sticker shock of, $100, $120 for this guy, depending on what he comes with. Some people may decide to stick with Lightning Collection, but they're just very different things. So it's going to be a question that comes up again in this video. It's weird. The action figure market is changing. It seems like that Hasbro is making room for other companies to take shots at these licenses like Super 7 and Mezco. It feels much less restrictive than it used to, and I think that's interesting. So we're definitely going to dig into that. It's untelling what we're going to see with the Power Rangers license. That's it for day 2. Let's go on to day 3. This was the final day. That was actually today, as of me recording this. MDS mega scale stuff. It's fine. It's cool. We have a 1990 It. I'm sure that somebody would be interested in this. I love that original and the remake, of course. So I think it's cool. It's just not really my kind of thing. I love Addams Family. If you've watched any of the Halloween specials on this channel, then you know how much we love Addams Family here. I also really enjoyed that new Addams Family film. I thought it was good. The CGI movie. It wasn't like the greatest thing I'd ever seen, but I thought it was pretty effective. I really liked Uncle Fester. He was the best character in the movie, in my opinion. And this is a cute little, Living Dead series of dolls here. That's, it's a cute little thing that comes with Cousin It, I guess. Not for me, not something I collect, but, it's neat. And I'm sure there's people, who massively collect that. Now, of course, I was waiting for the Batman reveal, and it did not disappoint me whatsoever. We have the Gotham by Gaslight Batman based on the Elseworlds series of comics, and this is just terrific looking. I really can't imagine this being done any better. It's just, the colors are just so spot on, and the paint applications on the belt and the face. are just more premium than even usual, I think, with a Mezco product. And it's this kind of thing that Mezco really excels at. It's not necessarily an actor license, but, adding realism to a comic book portrait, I think, is really where they're at. And they're getting much better with the actor likenesses, by the way. So they're growing in all sorts of ways. But I think that this is just awesome. And it'll be a great... It's funny, we're out of the Mezco Batman trilogy. This isn't, like another part to that. This is an adjunct. This is an extra thing. This is a kind of, an added Batman, an Elseworlds Batman. And maybe that's where the focus is going to be moving forward for the Batman line. Maybe it's going to be like Elseworlds and specific adapted media and seeing like, Adam West and things. And how about Robert Lowry? Come on. Looking for some serials representation right there. So there's lots of things they can do, but I won't rest until I get my OnStar Batman. And if you get that reference, then you went down the rabbit hole with me for sure. But really cool. I love this, and one of my favorite reveals of the show. And there was a third-party company that tried to do one of these actually just a little while back, and this puts that to shame. Here's another surprising reveal, Ultraman. And this one isn't, I guess, as big a surprise as some of the other stuff, because we'd already seen that they were doing a 5 points of articulation box set, which, since they're doing the Adam West box set, Batman box set from 66, then it makes me think that it's headed for 112 collective figure as well. And this is just super cool. I mean, what's great about this is maybe even more than the Green Ranger did, this really does just look like the dude in a suit from the 70s, from the original Ultraman. Like, it looks very photorealistic. And who knows how the final product will come out, but this looks awfully real. I mean, it's just so... I mean, you could almost use this as a miniature if you're doing like a fan film. I mean, it's really great. I can't wait to see the stop motion because it looks like it's like a bodysuit. So it's going to hide almost all the joints. And I think this is terrific. It's definitely one of my favorite reveals. And it may be something that I actually decide to go ahead and get. I mean, I would love to have an Ultraman of this quality in my collection. Next up, we have Ghost Spider, or Spider Gwen, whatever you want to call her here. Spider Girl, whatever. This is pretty cool. I think it's neat. It's not really my kind of thing. I like Spider Gwen a lot. But this figure seems fine. Maybe they're going to do some Spider-Verse stuff from Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know. Looks cool. The one thing I'll say is the head looks a little big to me, which would be in line with, say, they're like symbiote Spider-Man. But it almost seems like their Spider-Mans have a kind of bad track record for quality stuff. Like the rubber appliques on there don't always hold up. So hopefully that won't be the case here. But she looks good. Yeah, probably not something I'll get, but she looks good. Here's another Rumble Society tease. This is for another original character. We don't know who this is. Made a lot of jokes in the groups today that it was Captain Planet. And if you look, you can see the green hair and blue skin. It gives me a Captain Planet vibe. This is definitely more of an urban kind of looking character with the spray paints and things. And got a cap and a vest. And, it's cool looking. Somebody said that this reminded them of that old series that Mezco used to do a little bit. Like the, what was it called? Hoods or something? I can't remember. But it's certainly interesting looking. Who knows? I may pick that up. That's one that I can't tell a lot about, so I'd have to see the reveal. Speaking of reveals, oh my gosh, this is the one. They saved it to the very end, but this is huge. I mean, absolutely huge. We have Destro from G.I. Joe coming from the Mezco 112 collective line. This is hard to believe that they were able to work out a deal like this with Hasbro, which, I guess for years Hasbro has been licensing out G.I. Joe to Sideshow and other groups to make like 12th scale figures. So or 6th scale figures, but I suppose that, they have decided to go one step, further and go ahead and almost, give the license for a line that may directly compete with G.I. Joe Classified. But of course, we know that it's a very different kind of thing. This will be a direct-to-consumer kind of thing on the Mezco website. You're not going to see this at Walmart. You're not going to see it at Target. This is going to be, the $80 or $90 figure like they always do. So we know that it's not like that they're going to be side by side on the shelf or anything like that. But it might answer a few questions collectors have had, particularly when it comes to, hey, why aren't you guys just doing standard, like old school versions of these characters for classified? Well, I'd say this deal has been in the works for a couple of years. And I think that this might be your answer right here. I think this might be your kind of vintage throwback line right here. So I suppose that this will maybe quell some concerns about the classics line because, fans that want that, I think, would be more suited to being the target audience for kind of a hardcore collector's line, more of a premium price thing. So I think this looks awesome. G.I. Joe is in my top, top two action figure lines I collect. Maybe my very number one. I mean, it's hard to say. He and He-Man duke it out. Joe and He-Man, they're always just back and forth at each other's throats for that spot. So, but I have to say, it looks incredible. The suit looks really nice. I'd say that this is more of a prototype at this point, but I really hope that the final product is similar to this. You can see that here we have more of a comic book head, and I love the crazy sadistic grin. I think that's incredible looking. And here it's more of a toy head. So I think that's going to be interesting to see what direction that they take that in and see if there's any more heads. But I would say that 2 is probably more like what we're going to get. So overall, I would say that Mezco had an incredibly successful Mez-Con. This was an interesting experiment. They may want to look into just doing it like this from now on because I think that it turned out to be something that people really enjoyed. It was something you could do from the comfort of your own home, and all the social media stuff worked out beautifully. There wasn't any hiccups, nothing, everything seemed to be like on a timer. Things didn't get leaked. They, at least I didn't think they did, and they got put on, on time, and I think it just worked out beautifully. Were there any disappointments from the show, things people were expecting? I think people were expecting a real Gomez release because I know that there's people who are really into the Gomez stuff, and I may be one of those people pretty soon because I've ordered the Hazard Commander Gomez, so I think that could do it for me. So I think people might have been a little shocked that they wouldn't go ahead and put, their own mascot character in there. I think another thing that may have surprised some people is that they didn't show Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I think that there is some very strong rumors right now that they are indeed working on Turtles, especially I think last year at San Diego or something. They shown like a teaser image of one of the Turtles' hands like coming out of a manhole cover and grabbing a piece of pizza. And I think that has really spurred people on those rumors since then. And it is surprising that they wouldn't show it here because they were actually showing a teaser image then. And there's a lot of the stuff didn't even get teased, like G.I. Joe. So it's a little surprising that we didn't see something about that. And I thought for sure we probably would. What was my pie in the sky hopes for the show? I think pie in the sky hopes probably would have been them finally saying, hey, we figured out a way to do the Batmobile. We're finally going to do the Batmobile. It was delayed for all this time. We didn't think we could, but now we're going to. That was a big one for me. It didn't happen. I hope it still happens, but it's not looking good for the Batmobile. I thought that would be the perfect way to round out the trilogy of Mezco Batman, but they didn't do it. The other thing that I guess I was hoping for, and you can tell I'm a DC guy because that's all I'm fixated on, is I guess I was hoping for some Snyder Cut figures for Justice League. I was hoping to see like a black suit Superman. I was hoping that maybe we'd get an official solicitation for the Flash, maybe Cyborg, something like that. Basic Batman from his basic, outfit in Justice League. Heck, even a reissue of Nightmare Batman. I hope that they're considering that or keeping that in mind, or maybe have the option to do some of those figures, because it would be a shame for them to miss out on some big opportunities there. Other than that, I think that they really did surpass my expectations for what this show was going to be. You can tell that they're cranking out more 112 collective figures than ever before. I honestly thought the number of 112 collective reveals would be about half of what we see here. So good for them. I thought it would be a whole lot more Living Dead dolls and 5 points of articulation kind of stuff. But no, they really pumped out those 112 collective figure reveals, and I think they really did a great job on those. Now the only thing that's left is for them to please get me my Chris Reeve Superman here as soon as possible. I feel like everybody else on the planet has got them. I know that's not true because there's a lot of people that are just now getting the shipping notification. So I know I'm not, you know, a world apart from anybody in that same boat. So don't worry. Hopefully we'll have a review up pretty soon. And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing what Mezco does in the future. In my opinion, Mezco may be the most exciting action figure company around today. And I think that is so cool because Mezco's been around for so long. And I think that they're very much worthy of that success. So great job, guys. Really enjoyed the show this year. Hopefully you guys do something similar next year. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. And of course, keep it tuned to Fanboys Forever right here. Make sure you subscribe, you like the video. It helps us out a whole lot, helps the channel grow. We've been seeing tremendous growth. Glad you guys are a part of it. So make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to ring the bell for all those notifications about future news videos. And be sure to tell me in the comments if you enjoyed it or what you were expecting from the Mez-Con. Did it deliver? Were there some big surprises for you, or were there some things that just absolutely crushed you or disappointed you? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless you and yours. Take care. Fanboy out.